What's up, guys? This is Volaan again with another review for you, this time for Onerpm. Ooh, first off, I'd like to say that I am not sponsored by Onerpm, nor am I endorsed by them to make this review. This is just me talking about my personal experiences with them as a service. And I'm going to try not to ramble and waffle and all that stuff, digress, but it may happen. Hopefully not. If I do, I'll edit it out. Getting right to it, Onerpm is pretty good. Like, if you're a new artist or new band producer and you just want to like test the waters, see what your sound is like, they're good for that. I can definitely verify they're good for that. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I showed with my first release with Onerpm how they handled doing things. The placement they put your music in, which they say they put it in the playlist, they do. I saw like 3,000 streams my first week. Like after the first month, it was like 10,000 streams or like 20,000, something like that. With my last release, I have the pictures up. And that was really cool to see that there was actually a response. My music was being placed into playlists and radio stations and stuff like that digitally. I even got messages from friends like, "Hey, I was listening to the Daft Punk radio station and I heard 2 of your songs, and man, I didn't know your music was that good," and blah blah blah. So it was like, oh, okay, so my music is being placed. Yay. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you where it's being placed. So that's a big negative for me, and that's just my personal gripe with them. I think that's with any distribution company, is just like, where is my music going? Who's using it? Why are they using it? That's what I want to know. I want to know who's using my stuff, where, why, and I would like to, see it. I like to see where it's being used. That's just me. Like if my stuff got picked up by a commercial, by a company, I would like to see that commercial so I can post it, like, and repost it like on my social media, like, hey guys, check out this commercial. It had my music in it. Oh my God. Like, they were driving the new Acura Type S. I love cars. So like, oh my God, my music was in a car commercial. I want that car now because I would love to promote it, support it, whatever. So that's something that they just don't do. And no, I haven't seen any distributor do that, where they tell you where your music is going. Speaking of distribution, Onerpm has a pretty good list of distributors. That's kind of why I went with them in the first place, other than the fact that you can release your music for free. Let's get into, where is it? Distribution partners. Their partners are pretty good. I mean, you've got the standard, which I think are dead right now, which is iTunes and Apple Music. I know I've met one person who found my music and listened to it through Apple Music, and I was in shock. I was like, holy crap, but I didn't get royalties off of it. Like, I got 3 cents in royalties off of Apple Music, and then they took it back. I don't know what happened with that. They took it back. They took back the 3 cents that they were going to give me. But yeah, Apple, excuse me, Apple, iTunes, Amazon, Pandora, YouTube, Deezer, Spotify, Napster, YouTube Music, Shazam. All of these are like the basics right here. I mean, you're going to find those with pretty much everybody. Shazam, United Media Agency, I get a lot from. They're a company out in Germany. That's all I know, is that they're a company in Germany. iHeartRadio, Last FM, and Pandora. If you watched my video on how to release your music with them, I didn't have to do that this time. So my newest release in this November, a couple days ago, my music was already submitted and uploaded. I didn't have to touch it. I didn't have to contact anybody, so I'm pretty happy about that. They don't show Instagram on this list, but your music does get distributed to Instagram as well, which is pretty cool. Even though they say my music wasn't released to Facebook, I've still found my music on Facebook, which is pretty good. If you're doing instrumentals, that's something I will tell you right now. YouTube, Facebook, and some other place, I forgot where it was, they will not release your music if you're doing pure instrumentals with no vocals. And they'll tell you straight up that they're not releasing it. Oh, they have NetEase now. So like I said, like that's something to keep in mind. One of my complaints with CD Baby was when they released my music with YouTube Music. It was like this weird like discussion topic. I think I showed it in that video where like my music was submitted as a discussion playlist, not like as a playlist on my YouTube channel or through their YouTube channel, which I thought was kind of weird. So I had to like find it and then pull it onto my YouTube channel for people to find it. It was weird. It looked horrible. It was real amateur. 1RPM just doesn't even touch it. If you don't have a video for your stuff yourself, they're not going to touch it. They let me know straight out. They won't even release it to Facebook if you're doing pure instrumentals. TikTok is pretty cool because TikTok is growing. If you know about TikTok, it's a growing app really fast, almost rivaling Instagram at the moment. The other reason I went with 1RPM was because of Tencent. If you don't know about Chinese business, you might want to look into Tencent. They handle a lot in China and they're trying to build China. So like movie, film, TV, video games, any form of media they have a hand in, and having your stuff with them just makes me feel better at the end of the day. We'll just say that and move on. Other than that, their music distribution is kind of weird. It does go to places. It gets there a little like 2 days early. So like if you, let's say you need to release your music in 15 days, because they ask for 15 days for placement. They'll review it. They'll listen to it. You know, if they need to contact you about anything that sounds off, they'll do that. And then they'll send it out with a release date. My release date for my last project was November 30th, on the dot, the 30th. It released on the 28th. That's when it went live everywhere. And they sent me an email 2 days later, like, hey, your stuff is live. And I'm checking like Spotify, and it's like, it was here on the 28th. So they've told me it does get, you know, the other companies, they will release your stuff like maybe earlier than expected. It's up to them. It's not up to 1RPM. 1RPM just sends it to them. When it comes to your music, 1RPM does listen to it. So they do have people listening to your every track to see if there's vocals in there, to see if there's any like samples in there that may be, you know, copyright infringing or may cause a lawsuit or something like that. So they will contact you like, hey, whose vocals are these? Are they yours? Are they someone else's? Like if I wanted my niece to like talk on a track, I would have to get written permission from her mother, with, you know, that's signed and scanned and sent to them, and, you know, all this other stuff. So you got to be prepared when you release music through them. That's something to really take note of. Analytics, this is literally what you see. Well, not this, but that's pretty much just how it looks. Like, it sucks. Analytics sucks with every company I've seen out there for music. And I'll even show you my account. Like, even on mine, it's just, this is like the past 60 days. This is all you see. This is like really all you get. And then it'll have like track names and, you know, if it's doing good, and plus like it's stock. Like, are you plussing? Are you minusing? And it's like, okay, I don't really care about that. Like, I want to know what country is it being listened to? Like, you know, cities maybe. Like Spotify will tell you who's listening to your stuff. Like there's a person in Staten Island who's listening to your music right now live. You know, like it's like, oh, okay, well, wow, someone's listening to my music like in Staten Island. That's cool. When it comes to analytics for distribution companies, they don't tell you jack. It's like, oh, you know, Spotify is sending you this much money for royalties. It's like, okay, well, what tracks? You know, like I would need to know that as a producer, as an artist, so I can know, like, do I need to make more music like that? Do I have this backlog of music that I've worked on that all fits this genre that I didn't plan on releasing, but hey, I might have a fan base out there for that, so maybe I should release it. They don't really tell you what tracks. Even when it comes to sales, they don't tell you what was sold. It is not like, oh, someone bought track 3 on your album, you know, track 3 is the most popular. You have to like figure that out on your own. like going to Spotify and, you know, trying to figure out the numbers and other stuff, and Pandora, you have to like hunt down some of these places, and some of these places, they don't even have like artist pages. And I'm trying not to rant, I'm trying not to ramble, but just like a real fact is, look up your music, make an account with everyone they distribute to, and keep tabs on your own stuff. You know, like if you need to know like what track had, you know, more than 5,000 plays, you got to make an account with them and look it up yourself. They're not going to tell you. Like no distributor is going to tell you exactly what's the most popular track you have. It's just kind of like random numbers. They make sense to someone, but not to me. Their services, some of their services are good, some of them are kind of like weird. I don't really care about iTunes and Apple Music because I think that's dead, but somebody may care about it. The thing I care the most about is like I said, analytics. I want to know where my stuff is going. Social media integration, they will verify your profiles, and that's about it. I haven't seen anybody who does anything more than that. I can't even get my SoundCloud to connect with Onerpm, and that's supposed to be one of their marketing tools or something like that. It's one of their services. I forgot where it shows it, but it's supposed to be there where like your it's under marketing, where like you're supposed to connect to like your social media accounts and stuff and use all these marketing tools, and yeah, none of that really does anything. Like when you have your own account, like when you look over here on the left, this is in my account. You know, like they have like your distribution tools, and it's like, okay, this is just pretty much it. It's all vague. It's all vague. Like it's just you're clicking what you're clicking. You know, like for marketing tools, it's like smart links, okay, pre-saves, promo art generator, and I've posted the promo art generator a couple of times on my Instagram and Twitter, and it just I could probably do better myself with like a free version of Photoshop. Social syncs, it really doesn't sync up with anything too well. I never see a post from them. I've never seen anything. I haven't been able to even post through this to my Twitter or anything like that. Like it won't even accept it. So don't expect anything. Analytics, you're pretty much looking at them. So don't expect anything. Go to like Pandora or Spotify to actually pull up your own analytics, get your numbers. Accounting, royalty shares, I'm by myself, so I don't split royalties with anybody. But it will show you like your account balance and stuff, monthly report. It takes them a while to pull in their monthly reports, so don't expect like, you know, if you release an album December 30th, don't expect by January 30th to have reports. It takes like 2 to 3 months for them to pull stuff. Your bio, which is only for your Onerpm account, your account settings and stuff, like shows you like what's gone through. Legal is just legal. Support, their support team is good. They get to you quickly. Like your rights, your distribution, all this stuff is kind of just like fluff. It's not really there. Like when you see stuff like this, like your featured playlist placements, sorry, not trying to like ramble or rant or anything, but I would want to see this stuff. Like you see how it's showing here, like it's highlighting, you know, like where I guess your stuff would be in this playlist. They don't tell you where your stuff goes. They just place it. It's like, okay, well, I would like to take a screenshot like this, you know, like to maybe show my fans like, hey, you know, check this out. I'm in such and such's playlist. Like I was saying before, a friend of mine told me that I was in Daft Punk's radio station. You know, like he sent me a screenshot of it on his phone, or I think on his Amazon Echo or something like that. But like I would like to know that, you know, I'd like to show that to my fans, or like, hey, you know, check out such and such's radio station, you know, my music is there, or or maybe I'd like to, like reach out, know like, okay, if my music is in this person's radio station, then I have a similar sound. Like not everybody knows what sound that they have. Most people just make music and then release it, or they just make music because that's what they like. But like stuff like what they're trying to show off here, like I don't see it, and I've never seen it. I've tried to look it up. I've tried to find my own stuff, which I definitely advise you doing. Like I was saying before, look up your own stuff, find out where it's being played and where it's being used. But you got to make your own account with them. They don't make an account for you. They don't make an artist account for you. You have to make your own artist account. That you have to you got to do your own stuff. And if you have the time for it, it's great. If you don't, it sucks. As far as Onerpm's list, I'm following their Spotify list and I don't even see my music. I don't know where it goes. So I don't know if it's actually being placed in their own, in their own storefronts or listings or playlists or radio stations, or I don't know what they're doing with my music. And that's something that concerns me. It's like, I would like to know so that way I can better prepare, or maybe I might be able to build on a fan base, or maybe even start a fan base. I would like to know these things so that I can move forward with growing my audience. They don't help you grow your audience. They say they do, but they don't. That's just me. YouTube advertising, I've seen it, but like it was Method Man who released some videos with Onerpm. I've seen his videos in advertisement, and I'm not saying I'm on his level because I'm not, but it's like how big do you have to be for that? How what type of sound are they looking for? What type of what type of category do you have to fit in for your stuff to be promoted or used as advertisement throughout YouTube or Spotify or wherever? They don't tell you that. So that's something that just bothers me, that they don't tell you. And when I contacted support, they had no answer for me. So I don't know, because all this stuff, all this stuff is there, but when it comes to where your stuff is being put, I would like to know personally. I don't want to dwell on that too long, but like I said, they don't really help you build your fan base. And I don't really know what else that they can really help you with, but other than the fact that your uploads are free, they distribute your music for free, they collect your royalties, you get 85%. I think it's 85%, or it's still 70%. I think it's 85% now. I saw it somewhere. That's really good. Like I say, if you're starting out, you're new, or you're a band, or you're a group trying to see if you have a sound, or see if you have a talent, see if you have anything you can grow with, I think Onerpm is really good. For newbies, you just got to be prepared. I was new releasing music with them for my first time last year, and they asked me a bunch of questions. I was not ready for it because they don't work the same. So no distributor works the same. And that's something to keep in mind. When I released with CD Baby, they didn't ask me any questions. There was no who is this doing the vocals in this track. There was no question. It was just, oh, this is your music, this is what you're putting out. Okay, you paid, we're putting it out. With them, it's like, hey, who is this? Do you have permission to use it? How many people worked with you on this? And question, which is good, which is really good. So like I said, for me, I enjoy their services. Their services are offered for free and they take a cut. I just feel like they could do a little bit more to help new artists. Like if they separated the new artist experience from the veteran, I'm just saying artists as an example. I think that would benefit them more, because if you're someone who's like Method Man, will say as an example, Method Man doesn't need help getting his stuff out there. Method Man doesn't need help, growing his fan base. or getting his music placed. Like that's something that's, he's a veteran. He can he can just record on his phone and post that as a video, and it'll go viral. Whereas someone new like me, I'm just getting out there officially for the first time. Like, yeah, I have a small fan base from like way back in MySpace music, but I would like to expand on my fan base. I'd like to expand my sound. I'd like to expand and find out who's interested in hearing what I have to make. And if it resonates with them, I would like help with that. And if I don't have the money to pay a marketer or an agent or someone in like a label or someone, I don't have anybody on that level to take that brunt for me and be like, hey, you just make the music, I got everything else. I'm gonna find your fan base, I'm gonna find out who's listening to your music, I'm gonna find out where your music's being placed, what commercials it's in. I'm gonna make sure your stuff gets out there so people know about you. All you need to do is just keep working on your craft. I don't have anybody like that. So if they could offer that as a part of the service, like for new artists or for new producers, that would be a big help. And I think that's something that the industry needs overall, is just something to help out new people, because even some beat makers and producers, they may be like on YouTube and they've got a huge following, and they can rack up money pretty quickly. Like they can pull in $1 million a quarter, $1 million a year, not a quarter, but I'm pretty sure that actually I've seen that happen. But they can pull in like $1 million a year off their music, and that's great, but they know what they're doing. They have the know-how. They haven't been, well, we won't get into that. That's a whole discussion for a whole nother video. Anyway, I would just like to see that as a service with some of these distributors, like separating the veterans from the rookies, let's say, or from, the first timers who are making that leap from amateur to trying to be professional, from, going from, local battle of the bands and, community, submissions to trying to tackle the global market and trying to expand their horizon and stuff like that. I would like to see more support for people like that. But that's it for me. Like I said, I'm not sponsored to do this review by them. I just shared my experiences, my thoughts. Like I said, one RPM is good for new people. It definitely gets you going, gets you some revenue, gets you some numbers to see if your music is worth listening to, if people are liking it. They get your music out there. There are companies who will use it, if it fits their criteria. But the best thing is you're not paying someone to potentially use your music. You're putting your music out there for free and you're getting results back. So I can't beat that. CD Baby was really cool. I'm still working with them on my first official release. I'm still getting royalties off that. But as far as Onerpm, I got faster results. Within the year's time it took me to get to, let's say, I think it was 1 million streams off that first album that I released with CD Baby. I was able to do it with Onerpm in 6 months. So that literally, it literally showed that Onerpm is better at getting your stuff out there and getting it heard versus CD Baby, which is more for like veterans and established artists and musicians, where they already have their fan base. They just need somebody to put it out there for them. Onerpm definitely did come through on that end, showing me that hey, there are people who want to listen to my music, and they can be found faster, which I think is the main thing, is that the fact that it took Onerpm 6 months to do what CD Baby, what took CD Baby a year with their connections, with their distribution partners. It took a year to hit 1 million, whereas whereas Onerpm, it took 6 months. It was actually like around five months, but 5-6 months I was able to hit those same numbers. So, and even exceed them. So yeah, That's it. Check out the other videos if you're curious as to what I'm talking about with CD Baby, or iHeartRadio, Last FM, Pandora. If you're curious to what I was talking about in this video, check out those videos. And if you have any more like questions, maybe I might have skipped over something, maybe I forgot to mention something, ask me in the comments. I will reply. Other than that, if you have any questions about OneRPM, I say hit up their support staff. They do respond very fast. I can't emphasize on that enough. Their support team is really good. They'll answer as best as they can. They'll get to you as fast as they can, and they're pretty to the point. They don't beat around the bush. They don't try to sugarcoat stuff. They answer your question, as best they can and as bluntly as they can, which I appreciate. And that'll do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you out. Maybe it might have answered your questions. Maybe it might have touched on some concerns you may have had with OneRPM. I did check it. It does say you keep 85% of your royalties. Because I know before, I think a year ago, 2 years ago, it was like 70% or 77% or something like that. But now it's 85% because I guess they're getting bigger. If you're looking for something to connect with SoundCloud, they don't cover that. I think I said that earlier. So you might want to check out BeatStars. BeatStars works with SoundCloud and YouTube, because I know like right now, OneRPM is not touching my stuff with YouTube because it's pure instrumental. So, but they will collect royalties on it. They just won't release it to YouTube. So like I said, check out BeatStars. But yeah, other than that, I'm out. I need to make some more music. I'm feeling the techno vibe right now. And I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.